The DJI Neo 2 is not for everyone. For some, it's a total game changer. For others, it's a waste of money, frankly. We've been using it for a while, and today I'll show you exactly who I think should buy the Neo 2 and who definitely shouldn't. The DJI Neo 2 is a significant upgrade in terms of hardware over the first drone in the series. The tricks and flight capabilities of this tiny drone has leapt forward from the first Neo. However, although it might have confused some people, DJI's decision to keep the same type of sensor on this upgraded model actually makes more sense than it might seem at first glance. Let me explain. First up, and a quick shout out to the amazing people at DJI Hasselblad for sending us this amazing little product and making this content possible. They do not get to approve our scripts or videos, not that they have ever asked for that in fact, nor do we have any pressure to even make content on the products that we're sent. We work with them in a unique partnership, which is mainly and also focused on regulation support. So in terms of product releases, it creates a really enjoyable space for us at Geeksvana to make content. You can find affiliate links to their listings for the Neo 2 in the description. Using it brings you UK stock of the drone, but also supports Geeksvana. Now, since the Neo 2 already launched in China, you've probably seen the specs and some of the flashy footage. So instead of another spec rundown, let's talk about who this drone is actually for. If you're a camera drone flyer looking for benchmark performance, stunning image quality, long endurance, strong wind resistance, then this probably isn't your next drone. The Neo 2 is not a cheaper Mini 5 Pro. It's like comparing a motorcycle to a luxury car. Both are great at what they do, but designed for very different experiences. The world of cameras is pretty good at doing this, with brands like Sony launching cheaper and less capable models to support their flagship models, ideal for people who wouldn't normally use about 80% of the flagship model's features. And that's what you've got here with the Neo 2. So the Geeksvana team have been using the Neo 2 for a while now. So who do we think this drone is for? Who will get the most use out of the drone? For me, that is squarely in the selfie drone marketplace that has been slowly developing over the past couple of years. Whether you're a blogger wanting to get some simple B-roll or an extra cameraman to follow you around, or a family chilling on the beach wanting some footage and pics of you all relaxing together, or sports users wanting to get a drone to follow you for some of the action, then the Neo 2 is actually a very capable and affordable drone for those types of use cases. The combination of wind performance and battery life means that this is not a drone to go hunting views or from. The combination of wind performance and battery life means that this is not a drone to go hunting views from or trying to position to capture an event or scenery from a particularly high vantage point. I would describe it best as an envelope drone. So if you use it in an urban area or parks or alike, keeping within the envelope of the buildings and the trees, etc., will actually help you perform well, and you'll get the most out of the drone in terms of battery life as well. Used in this way, we found the battery life to be between 13 to 16 minutes, depending on how many of the onboard toys were being used at the time. As you might expect, the more the drone works, then the shorter the flight time. This increases if you try to use the drone as a straight-up camera drone and buzz it up to 50 meters to gain some footage. It will do it, and although it has to work very hard, the Neo 2 will get the footage, but I would argue that the plunging flight time in open winds at higher altitudes means this is not a classic camera drone. If you care about that cinematic pro level footage or long endurance, then skip the Neo 2. There is a lot of tech in this tiny drone, including one of the most significant upgrades to allow for omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. The cameras mounted on the rear and the front-facing LiDAR type sensors gives what is in practice pretty great avoidance of obstacles. When using this drone to track you when you are moving fairly steadily and slowly, it works very well. The moves it makes will overall be fairly natural in terms of the footage that you get from it. When you push the drone at much faster speeds using the cycling mode, etc., you'll definitely get more of a rapid action style in terms of results, rather than anything too cinematic. Push it very hard and the avoidance algorithm would, perhaps expectedly at this price point, start to fail. But of the several trees and poles our Neo 2 has clattered against, it's actually stood up incredibly well and still looks pretty new. One thing that has helped the improvements designing the airframe and hardware to make subtle changes like protecting the front sensors and camera with a couple of little bumps in the frame. Going by the scratches that we have on this part of our drone, it seems to have been well placed design there. Something the avoidance sensors gives you as a user is the option to use what is an impressive gesture response system. When out filming B-roll, Joe and Will described the gestures as using the force in terms of just how reliable it seemed to be. You can give a range of instructions to the drone, including changing height and distance. One big help that Joe found is with the gesture mode was the blue light at the front of the drone that tells you the Neo2 sees your gestures. The key we found to it is to ensure that you make that fist when you're positioning and then open up the hand, showing your palm when you're actually ready to control it. That made things very clean and simple. One gesture that I personally think is a great addition is the return to palm feature. Holding out your palm to the Neo2 will make it come to you and land quickly. This is particularly useful when you're around people or something changes, needing the drone back quickly. As a side note, and it's not something that I've played with too much, but you're also able to use voice commands when using the app on a phone or device. Another relatively small change actually makes the Neo2 a lot more usable as a selfie drone than the first model. Adding the side control buttons and front display screen changes everything and makes the drone so useful without any controller or phone hooked up. You can change everything from autonomous mode to the distance and even the angle of follow mode using the buttons and screen. This genuinely makes the Neo2 so much more usable and something people can simply pack alone without a controller and still get great results when out and about. Okay, the Chinese launch of the drone got a lot of commentary on social media where people were disappointed not to see a significant bump, or any at all, frankly, in terms of the camera sensor size and therefore quality. The Neo2 features a 12 megapixel half-inch sensor with f2.2 aperture, which is great, and a high performance image processor. You can definitely see the difference on that last one. It can shoot in 4K 60 with 4K 100 slow motion footage. The new 2-axis gimbal does make the footage more versatile and stable, so although there isn't a bump in sensor, processing and the gimbal do improve things a bit. But again, this isn't intended as a conventional camera drone to compete with the mini series, etc. Next up, and I want to talk a little about how you can control the Neo2 and compatibility with existing DJI accessories. The packs the drone comes with include the standard controller that you attach your phone to, and a pack that comes with the N3 box goggles and motion controller. In addition to this, you can use the Neo2 with the RC2 screen controller. And in a more recent upgrade, DJI have enabled what they call manual mode when using Goggles 3 and FPV controller, both of which are sold separately to the packs available on release. Now, in terms of that manual mode, I haven't used it myself yet because it isn't what I use this drone for. I do fly my Avata 2 in something like manual mode, but I'm still learning at the moment, so that isn't something that I gave any real test to. I've seen a couple of videos of people using in manual mode, and I'm sure it's something that someone that's new to drones would probably enjoy, but I'm not sure how well it does for the more pro FPV flyers out there. I'll have to wait and see for some of those tests. A quick mention here of the digital transceiver module that you see on the back of the drone here. This is intended to give you low latency and stable transmission to the controllers and goggles. It is essential if you intend to use the Neo2 with a controller. As a drone-only pack, it does not come with this, as it is included in the pack with controllers in them, of course. If you never intended on using a controller, then the drone-only is perfect for you. But I have noticed that the module's selling online for around £40 if you intend on buying the drone-only and need that because you're going to use an existing controller. One tip is that DJI recommend that every 30 hours or so of flight time, you tighten up the 4 screws attaching the module to the drone because they do become loose. That leads us to pricing, and here in the UK, you get the Neo2 from DJI Hasselblad next day from UK stock at £209 for the drone only, £349 for the Fly More combo with the batteries and standard controller, and the top pack with the N3 goggles and motion controller as well at £509. So a good amount of choice in terms of how you buy the drone, depending on how you think you might want to control it. There is also the option to pair the drone to existing controllers, as explained before. So what is my final thoughts on the Neo 2? Is it worth purchasing for UK use at the moment? For me, that is a resounding yes. DJI have dialed down and focused on the intended market for this drone, and I think they got it right. It is going straight in my camera bag as a decent B-roll and additional camera option. It will also get a lot of use for me when out and about socially and on holiday, as it's so easy to control. If you are one of the users I described before, then this drone makes a lot of sense. However, as we have already hopefully taken from this video, I will also be packing my Mini 5 Pro or larger drone when I need to get conventional footage from higher vantage points, etc. Interestingly, when out and about flying the Neo 2 at various locations here in leafy Surrey, the public reaction was very positive. Using a small toy-like drone around people is something that they're really not threatened by or suspicious of. So it helps from that point of view as well. We've got some more content on the Neo 2 planned for over on the Geekier channel. So if you want to see more, follow the link in the description and subscribe to that channel. And of course, subscribe to this channel, Geeksvana, for more on the world of drone news, product launches, regulation guides, and opinion. Sean out.